The first day in prison is scary. The first day in prison is uncomfortable. The first day in prison is heartbreaking. The first day in prison is sad. The first day in prison is lonely. I'll never forget the first day in prison. The first day in prison changed my life. And that's why I'm here. I'm trying to give y'all jewels, man. So tune in, bruh, and hear me out for a second. For real. So I got locked up when I was 15 years old. I was a kid. I was a baby. I really didn't know no better. I didn't really know nothing. I didn't know who I was. I ain't know really nothing about life. I really never even really left my neighborhood. Or even my family for that matter. So I made a mistake. But that one mistake altered my life. And I'll never be able to change that. That's why you need to pay attention to everything that I'm about to tell you. Because the first day in prison was my worst day in prison. And it started like this. I was 17 years old. They had sentenced me to 13 years. That was almost more time than I had been alive. Feel me? So, fortunately, I had already been locked up going on 2 years. So, I was a little familiar with the ins and outs of doing time at this moment. Thank God that he had prepared me a little bit for what I was about to experience. Because if I wasn't, it would have been a lot worse than what it really was. But I had God by my side the whole time. And I'm very grateful for all of my blessings that I had along my journey. Because I know that my journey wasn't like a lot of people's. It was different. It was different. It was hard, but it was different. It wasn't as hard. I was very fortunate and blessed during my time. And I want y'all to really pay attention to that. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, are not as blessed as I was when I was doing my time. When I say I had God with me, I really mean I had the Most High with God, watching over me, hovering over me, his hands on me, never letting me go. Never letting me go, not one second. That did play a major part in why I'm here right now, talking to y'all. Because I could still be in that place. Or worse, I could be gone. I could be gone. You see what just happened to Tory Lanez? He got stabbed 14 times. They tried to kill that boy. Where he at? He in prison. He was just living his best life. Now where he at? He in prison. And I almost died. I almost lost his life. You get what I'm saying? So y'all gotta pay attention to y'all decisions. Pay attention to your surroundings. And pay attention to your circle. Pay very close attention to your circle. Because your circle can get you in some stuff. Your circle can get you in some mess that you can't get yourself out of. So always be aware of everything and everybody that's around. That's just a jewel from me to you. You feel me? Straight up. You know, my first day in prison was so scary, so overwhelming that I didn't know how to take it. Even though I was prepared for what was happening. Because I had been already going through the motions of day-to-day prison life for almost 2 years at that time. Even though I was a little prepared for that, it still was scary. And if somebody tell you that it wasn't, they lying. Because for one, if it's your first time in prison, it's your first time in prison. You don't know what to expect. You don't know. All you know is what you done heard, or all you know is what you done seen on movies. You know what I'm saying? What prison movies you done watched? You get what I'm saying? They was crazy in the mud, wasn't it? So you get my point. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. That was the picture that I had in my mind when I was 17 years old, about to get sent to the same place that I had been watching on movies and that I had been hearing about from other kids and guards who was trying to, of course, scare us. But like I said, thank God I was a little bit prepared for what was to come. So the 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 response wasn't as bad as it could have been. You get what I'm saying? Um, for y'all who don't understand, what I mean by that is, you know, because I don't like to glorify where I come from. I don't like to glorify how I was raised. I don't like to glorify a lot of the things that we was taught, because ultimately it led me to prison. So I never want to give the wrong impression to anybody that's watching. So what I mean when I say I was fortunate was, it was guys that wasn't as strong as me. When I was 17 years old, I was strong. I was already physically strong and mentally strong. You know what I'm saying? Because at 13 years old, I was hanging around guys that were 19 years old. So being around older people, being raised by my mom who was older, and she basically taught me everything I know. By being around that, I grew up fast. So not only was I physically a lot more developed than a lot of my peers, because I was 6'3" and going on 200 pounds at 17. I was also mentally more developed than a lot of my peers because I had grew up a lot faster. So because of that, a lot of obstacles and hardships that I was able to pivot and maneuver, they weren't, because they weren't prepared for that, what was to come. They hadn't been prepared in those type of environments where, when it really get hot in the kitchen, what is you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, seeing things, here and there, and going to your aunt's house and, every once in a while and seeing the ghetto. But it's another thing to actually live in a trap house. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. It's a difference when you have a mom and dad at home and they're providing for you. But you're a bad kid. So naturally when you come home from school, you want to go outside and you find your way hanging with the bad kids. It's a difference versus that to somebody who all they have is a mom at home. They don't have a father. They never knew their father. They never met their father. And their mother, the only parent they have is a drug addict or an alcoholic. It's different when you're consumed in madness. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So when I had to, you know, go into this new, phase of life that I've never actually experienced, I was kind of already, that's what I mean by I was okay, already prepared for what was to come. Now, a lot of my peers, they weren't as fortunate. They couldn't endure the suffering, the loneliness. They couldn't endure the sadness. They couldn't endure the heartbreak, the pain, the overwhelming. They couldn't overcome that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them fell victim to prison. And what I mean by that is this is not for everybody. So excuse my language, but it's real. A lot of these guys got turned out. A lot of these guys got raped. A lot of these guys got taken advantage of in prison. A lot of these guys, got their stuff, their belongings taken from them. Some guys had hard times, hard prison bids. And I know, because I seen it. Same kids that came in on a bus with me. Same kids that was in juvenile with me. They turned 18 and in prison, just kind of took a hold of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's a harsh reality. And it's very sad to actually witness somebody that you became close to as a kid in detention center. And then you turn adult and you see the same person and now he's turned out or now he's, a flunky for a gang or, you know what I'm saying? A sissy walking around twitching and yarn in his head. You know what I'm saying? It's sad seeing it, and you wonder like, dang, that could have been me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the reality of it. That could be you. You know what I'm saying? But thank God that the Most High had other things in store for me. But I seen a lot of hard guys, a lot of tough guys become victim of prison. So it's not only the weak. It's not only the weak. That's what I'm saying. It's not only the weak. Prison is scary, y'all. And prison is not a place that you want to be. Prison is very real and it's not a game. Prison is an institution where they are dumping people, hordes of people by the busload, literally. And they're getting paid to have you there, to house you. They're taking advantage of you. They're taking your life. They're taking your soul. They're taking your manhood. And women, it's the same thing. A lot of women have to do time. And a lot of women who do time get taken away from their children. And it's a shame. Now their children get placed in foster care in the system. And it's just a whole nother cycle that now this kid has to be affected by because of your decisions. You know what I'm saying? So everybody just be mindful of your decisions, be mindful of your actions, and live life. It's too much life to be lived to be sitting in a cell. It's too much life to be lived to be sitting in prison, stuck around a bunch of guys or stuck around a bunch of women. gossiping all day long about what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? Why would you rather be in prison gossiping about what's going on out here when you can just be out here? So that's something to keep in mind. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video and see you next time.